right. You are back. All right, so we are going to be talking about the weekly update and prediction for AMC. This is your weekly update and prediction for AMC stocks. We're going to be looking at AMC stock and checking out AMC, looking at the earnings. We're also going to be looking at the MOAS roadmap. We're also going to be looking at earnings. We're going to be looking at SPY and giving you guys a weekly prediction and update. All right, so first thing we're going to be looking at here is this ascending channel for AMC stock. So AMC stock is currently in an ascending channel. Yesterday, I identified here on the video yesterday that I dropped a falling wedge that we have here. So we have this falling wedge. We had that breakout yesterday of the falling wedge on the smaller time frame. So here on the smaller time frames, we are looking at a possible bull flag forming right here. You guys can see this right here. I'll go ahead and draw the trend lines for you so you can see that a little bit more clearly. It would be kind of like this. Now this is a very small bull flag on the micro time frame. But we are looking for more upside from AMC throughout the week. I'm expecting AMC to be flat here in pre-market, maybe get a pop to the upside in pre-market, but basically I'm expecting this channel to hold. So what we could see on Monday is a day of consolidation. We'll go ahead and look at what the barge pattern is, what it's saying after this. And then after this, I'm going to run through each and every segment of the MOAS theory. But let's go ahead and give you guys the weekly prediction update for AMC. So again, I'm looking at upside here throughout the week. We are looking based off of the barge pattern to see AMC retest $4.80 around that region, $4.80 around that region here on Wednesday. So if the barge pattern is to continue to play out, we want to see AMC retest this 480 region and get a spring off of that, pushing us to the upside. Now we do have earnings here on the 6th. So we can see that earnings, AMC's earnings is on the 8th. I do apologize, on the 8th. And if we look at what the barge pattern is telling us here for the 8th, we can see that it's possibly going to be a spring for the upside. So we can see that we're basically flat into earnings. We get a little bit of pop to the upside here on Monday and Tuesday, coming back down Wednesday into earnings. Earnings will be on Tuesday. So coming back down into Tuesday in the earnings, I do apologize. So we get a little bit pop here Monday, and then coming into Tuesday, come back down to 480, retesting that region, and then get earnings and get a major spring to the upside, which I do think we are going to get from this earnings, because if we look at the earnings from the popcorn, if we look at the profit margin from the popcorn, profit margin from ticket sales, and we see that the box office is constantly increasing, we know that this earnings is going to be good. And not only this earnings is going to be good, but the next earnings is going to be good. So this is what I'm looking at based off of earnings. I do think this earnings is going to be a little bit different, because I do think we're going to see upside. Now, if we look at historic context for AMC earnings, we can actually see that AMC, for the most part, dumps after earnings. So what happens for the most part on AMC on earnings is it runs to the upside and then gets a major dump to the downside after earnings. Right here is the earnings date right here. We can see that we ran to the upside, got a major dump to the downside, got a major run to the upside, got a major dump to the downside. So this is what I'm looking at based off historic context. But what I am thinking is actually going to happen this earnings date is we are going to get a rally. That's based off of the technicals and the barge pattern. The technicals right here as well, because earnings is on Tuesday, is showing that we are in this ascending bullish channel. What we normally see see from an ascending channel is a break to the up or downside at the end of the channel. What I want to see AMC do is come to the top of this channel and use it as support and get a push to the upside. Now, based on the smaller time frames, what we're looking at for AMC, it does look like we could see some consolidation Monday. So it does look like we could see some consolidation Monday and then into Tuesday get the rally that we're looking for based off of the bearish pattern. Let's go ahead and pop on the super trend. All right, we're going to go ahead and pop on the super trend here. So we do have a fresh buy signal here on the 1 hour time frame, which is bullish. All right. So for my weekly prediction and update for AMC, I am expecting to see a green weekly candle. I am expecting to see a green weekly candle based off of everything that I'm seeing here. I do expect to see a green weekly candle on AMC for the weekly prediction and update. And then for earnings prediction and update, I do expect to see a rally to the upside. Now, I know for historic context, we normally see a dumping after the AMC earnings, but I do expect upside. Let's go ahead and look at GME stock, show you guys what's going on for GME stock, and give you guys a quick update for GME. And then we're going to look at SPY. GME. All right, so we're going to check out GME, then we're going to check out SPY. All right, so this looks a little bit off. So let me let this load and adjust this. Looks like the pattern moved. I had to update my browser, so everything's changed. Okay, so we want to see for GME, and I said this in my last video, is we're going to see a possible retest here of this low. So GME based off of the fractal is set to get a bounce, come back down, and retest this low of 2050. It's either going to be inside of the wedge or outside of the wedge. What we want to see is price break outside of the wedge, come back down, retest it as support, push to the upside, and then get the momentum we need to break out of this macro wedge, and have the rest of this fractal play out. All right, let's go ahead and look at GME on Webull. All right, so GME got a fresh buy signal here on the 2 hour time frame. Also, we have a MACD cross here on the 2 hour time frame. We also have GME using this wedge as support. So this is a macro wedge here on the marked in yellow, using this as support. So what we could see GME do is get a nice push to the upside, which is exactly what we want to see. Come back down, retesting that as support, and then giving us the momentum we need to push to that $25 to $30 region. Once we get to that $25 and $30 region, you guys already know the story. Go ahead and look at Stonko Tractor. You guys can see that GME. Now this is going to be last week calls, but normally has a decent amount of call options at the $30 range. We will check this here next week. Also, I want to point out AMC has 0 shares available to borrow as of now. and it had a crazy gamma ramp, man. If we would have closed over $5, that would have been absolutely insane. Also, I want to point out news coming out for this week as well. We have core year-over-year inflation rating. We have month-over-month inflation rating. We have the year-over-year inflation rating, and then the month-over-month inflation ratings for core inflation and then regular inflation. This is on Thursday. Now, I do expect this to cause a lot of volatility in the market, especially if these numbers come in hot. If inflation comes in hot, we are going to see the market have a lot of volatility. I'm going to talk about SPY here in a second, but I think we're actually about to see a major pullback on SPY. I know I've been saying this over and over and over again, but I do think we're about to see a major correction here on SPY. And then again on Friday, we also have PPI month over month, and then we have Michigan consumer statements. Now, that is not too much of a factor, but these are all high impact data set. So we want to be careful and watch out for those. And then on Tuesday, the 15th, which is next week, we have retail sales. But Thursday is going to be the big day. So basically, SPY is looking extremely bearish. SPY is getting a big sell signal here in the 4-hour time frame. Also, it's possibly forming a massive head and shoulders pattern here. But what I'm even more worried about with SPY is if it breaks this yellow level right here at 440. So let's go ahead and just make sure. The level is going to be 446 right now because this is ascending support and resistance, so that it keeps going higher and higher and higher. So it's going to be level 446. If SPY breaks 446 as support, you're going to see a major capitulation to the downside. I actually think this is actually setting up for a tank to the downside. If we look on the smaller time frames, it's actually setting up a bear flag to the downside. So this is a bear flag right here, this formation that it's forming, this upwards consolidation chop. We could see a potential drop to the downside, retesting these levels and not using them as support. You want to see 446 hold as support on SPY. If you are bullish on SPY, you want to see this hold as support and get a push back to the upside. Now, we would also have to break this major resistance at 445 or 455. I do apologize. 455. You'd have to break this major resistance at 455. And if not, you're going to see a capitulation to the downside on SPY, forming this overall head and shoulders. Now we have this massive sell signal here on the 2-hour time frame. We have a massive sell signal here on the 4-hour time frame. We also have MACD starting to flip to the bear side on the 4-hour time frame. And then we also have on the daily time frame, we're starting to get a lot of bearish momentum as well. As you guys can see, the MACD flipping to the bear side as well on the daily time frame. So again, a lot of bearish momentum coming in the SPY, and I do think we are going to see a major pullback. As the Fed did say, we are going to start aggressively selling off our assets, our balance sheet. The Fed at the end of the FOMC meeting said we are going to aggressively start selling off our balance sheet. And what is going to happen is you're going to start seeing the market start to dump because of this. When the Fed is selling, the market goes down. We also have the lagging effect of the raised rates. So when the Fed raises rates, that doesn't come into play right away. That has a lagging effect of 12 to 18 months. So therefore, we haven't even really felt the effects of the first rate raises. So in that case, we are going to see more downside for SPY. I've also pointed out how this rally was very unhealthy. And so here, let's go ahead and look at that real quick. So I want to point out here on the weekly time frame that you want to see, for a nice bull rally, you want to see the price action check support on the way up. So you can see that price, check support, it came up, check support, came up, check support. But then it started going into this bull rally with this weekly buy signal. So we can see that we got this weekly buy signal on the weekly time frame and went into a massive overextended rally. And this is when I started to get concerned on SPY because of all the bullishness, the way that it didn't check support on the way up. That tells me that when this thing does show weakness with this massive bearish engulfing candle here on the weekly time frame, when this does show weakness, it's going to be a capitulation to the downside hard. And if we look at the weekly time frame, we did get this bearish engulfing candle If this confirms on the next week for a lower low, and we see a lower low next week, that is going to be confirmation that a downtrend has started on the macro time frame. That means the momentum has shifted and the bears are in control. So we want to watch this week very, very carefully to see if we close above the level of 446. Again, this 446 level is going to be crucial support and resistance for this rally to continue. Now, I do think 459.44 was the top. You guys already know that I called 460 at the top. I do think this is going to be the top of this rally, and I do think we are actually going to get a confirmation of this bearish engulfing here on the weekly time frame over into next week. My prediction for SPY for the next week is going to be a red weekly candle. Last week, I did predict a red weekly candle as well, and I do think we are going to see another red weekly candle here on SPY. That is my personal opinion. So we are locking in the prediction at a red weekly candle for SPY. Let's go ahead and talk about GME. Give you guys a prediction and update for GME. I didn't finish GME, so let's go ahead and talk about GME stock. Give you guys an update and prediction on that. I appreciate y'all stopping in. Good morning. Good morning, Sandy Smith, Kevin, Whimsy Chick, what up? I think we should run a monopoly. Hey, I'm not doing no no organization of anything like that. I appreciate y'all being here. Tuesday is earnings. Yes, Tuesday's earnings. I'm predicting a good rally for earnings. I'm also going to do a video after this, guys, so don't worry if you don't get all of the content here. I'm going to do a regular weekly prediction update after this. So don't worry if you guys aren't getting all the information during this live stream. All right, let's look at, we're going to look at, hold on, give me a second. All right, let's check out GME. Give you guys an update on GME stock. All right, so let's look at GME stock, show you guys what's going on for GME. All right, so GME did get a red weekly candle here on the weekly time frame. This is actually a bullish candle in my personal opinion. We have 3 weeks here of bullishness or bearishness. I am expecting a green weekly candle for GME stock. Now, we do have a potential issue here on the weekly time frame showing a potential bearish cross. We want to see GME hold these levels to see this move to the upside. Now, I'm a firm believer that we are actually seeing the spring for GME, and that's why we're seeing this overall bearishness, that this is the spring that's going to take us to the upside. If we go ahead and look at the macro, so we go ahead and look at the macro. Well, let me put on the 4-hour. All right, so you can see here, the 4-hour is perfect. You can see here that we're going to get a rally to the upside, which is what I'm expecting based off of the technicals. So we don't just look at bearish patterns, because that will never, ever get you anywhere, I'm telling you. If you just look at bearish patterns and don't use technicals. But you can see that we're going to get a slight rally to the upside and then come back down, retesting that same key level that we held as support here, 2250, 2240, around that region. Retest that, and that's going to be our final spring to push us to the upside. Now, if we go ahead and look at what the technicals are telling us for GME, all right, so The first thing I want to point out is here on the 4-hour time frame, we have a bullish MACD cross. And then also, we can see that the alligators are starting to flip momentum. You can see that the bands are starting to get close together. This and the bullish band is starting to curl to the upside. This is showing momentum changing along with the bullish flip on the MACD. We also have technical support here. We got this bounce off of that 2030 level, that low level that we need to bounce, that spring. We got a nice bounce off of that, using that as support. This is exactly what you want to see from a low. You want to see a good reaction, push to the upside, and you guys can see that we got that push to the upside using this as support. Now we're currently testing this as support. If we can hold these levels as support, you're going to see GME get a larger push to the upside, starting an uptrend to that $30 level. Again, this is the same wedge that we have been tracking day after day, week after week here on the channel. We've been tracking this wedge for quite some time here on GME. This is the yellow falling wedge with the breakout target to that $28 level. We have been tracking this for quite some time. We've also still holding macro sloping resistance as support. You guys can see here charting on Webull. If you look, that turquoise line is our macro sloping resistance. Look how we have built that as support and retested it time and time again and held it. And the key thing about this is each time we test it, we get a good bounce off of it. We're getting a nice bounce off of it. So as you guys can see, this is looking as strong, firm support. This has been resistance for over 3 years. About 2.5 years, this has been resistance. Every time GME has rallied, it's hit its head on this price target. It is now using that as support. I also am going to run through each and every phase. I'm getting ahead of myself, but on this live, I'm going to run through all of the evidence that we have that we're going to see upside on GME and AMC for MOAS. But I do predict a green weekly candle for GME stock here on the weekly time frame. Again, I'm predicting a green weekly candle on GME stock. So the weekly prediction and updates for candles are AMC green, GME green, and the SPY red. I do think AMC and GME are going to start decoupling from SPY. We're going to see SPY start to move to the downside and start getting an overall crash and capitulation. Let's go ahead and look at that theory. Why do I think SPY is going to crash? Why do I think AMC and GME are going to decouple? Why do I think MOAS is going to happen? So we're going to go one by one. I'm going to first talk about the technical analysis. Then I'm going to talk about Wyckoff. Then I'm going to talk about barge pattern and fractal analysis. And then I'm going to talk about cycle analysis. And then I'm going to talk about psychology. So first we're going to start off with technicals. Press like. Hey, press like if you are just coming in. I appreciate you guys. Please press like if you're just coming in. I appreciate you all for stopping in, hanging out this weekend. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right, so let's go ahead and do one by one technicals. All right, so the first thing I want to point out for AMC stock is, and I have to go on TradingView and I have to go on Webull because they chart just a little bit differently. But the first thing I want to point out for AMC stock is the massive falling wedge that we had accumulation over 2 years. This is the first part of the technicals. There's two technical patterns for AMC. There's a falling wedge, and there's a double bottom. There's two technical patterns for GME. There's a falling wedge, and there's a double bottom. Then we also have the Wyckoff analysis. We have cycle and bars analysis. We have psychology, and so it's, let me list these. I had a notepad and I had a whole presentation ready for you guys. I had a whole presentation that I was going to put up. I had a notepad and all this stuff, but I had to update my browser because I was experiencing some technical difficulties. All right. So let's point out, first of all, the macro falling wedge. Macro falling wedge. So you guys already know what a falling wedge is. I'm sure you guys all know what a falling wedge is. Falling wedge is a bullish continuation pattern. Bullish continuation with a higher high. So we have a macro falling wedge here on AMC. We break out of the falling wedge. This is a macro falling wedge, so it takes time, but we used it as support. We broke out of it, used it as support. Look exactly where price came down to use it as support for the bottom. Now we are starting a overall uptrend. You guys see that we're in an uptrend now? This was the low. We have never went lower than this. We are now in an overall uptrend. Now, again, it is macro. It's going to take time to play out. But we are in an overall uptrend. We also have a macro double bottom. This is bottom number 1. This is bottom number 2. These are the two bottoms. You might be able to count this as a third bottom if you like, but it's not a true bottom. As you guys can see, these two bottoms were lower. This bottom and this bottom was lower. This was a low, but these two were lower. They were slightly lower. This came back down to about $4 even. This is $3.80 and this is $3.70. So we have the macro double bottom. That takes us all the way back up from like to $16 to $20. We could use this point or this point. This point would be more accurate. Coming all the way down, bottom number 1, get a clean bounce. Exactly what you want to see off resistance and support. Test it again. Clean bounce. Test it one more time with a higher low. Clean bounce. This is going to take us back up into the $16, $15 region. Now, you guys already know that once AMC passes that region, I do believe that shorts are going to be heavily underwater. We're going to see FOMO kick in. We're going to see gamma kick in. We're going to see all of the shorts that had piled in here at these lower ranges paying 100 or 1,000% cost to borrow. We're going to see all of those shorts heavily, heavily, heavily underwater. We've seen a huge increase in short interest. So those are all new shorts. So that will cause a feedback loop of gamma, FOMO, shorts covering, gamma, FOMO, shorts covering, driving us higher and higher and higher. Macro falling wedge price target is going to be $45. So just based off of the falling wedge alone, we're set to hit $45. Based off of the double bottom, we're set to hit $16. So these are two technical patterns on the macro time frame, which I like using way better. It's way more reliable. Macro time frame showing that we're going to see upside for AMC. We can also see here on the monthly time frame, the MACD is starting to get a crossover to the bull side, meaning that this bearish phase, this bearish downtrend is going to be ending, and we're going to start seeing momentum shift. Last time AMC got a monthly MACD cross, we had these two major rallies, and this is why I say we are going back into the squeeze cycle. I do believe we are going back into the squeeze cycle. We are going to see this MACD flip, and we're going to see major upside for AMC. So these are the technicals on why I think we're going to see upside. Let's go ahead and look at Wyckoff. Now, again, I'm not a Wyckoff expert. I will say this over and over again, but we're going to simply compare the pattern. And then after this, I'm going to talk about the reverse split. We're going to talk about the reverse split and some fun facts about that. Effects on short sellers. So you guys already know I asked ChatGPT. I basically described AMC in a fictional world. That way ChatGPT would be able to respond. Because if you ask it straight up, it won't give you financial advice. So it's kind of like hacking ChatGPT. But I asked it, you know, what are the benefits to short sellers basically from a reverse split or a stock split? Either or. With the increased number of shares from a reverse split or from a stock split, let me make sure I have this right. Regular stock split, yes. So from the regular stock split when Adam Aaron created Ape, that gave them more shares to short us down. As you guys can see, with the increased number of shares, hold on, let me find it. Effects on short sellers. With the increased number of shares and continued short interest, the potential for a short squeeze could still be significant. The higher number of shares would demand for the stock. It's in here somewhere. It exposes them. Suppose the committee decides to implement a 2-for-1 stock split. This is in case existing shares held by investors receive additional shares. The stock price halved. The reverse or the stock split gives them more shares to short. The regular stock split would also affect short sellers. They would have to deliver twice. Okay, but this is an interesting part of this aspect here, though. The regular stock split would also affect short sellers because they would have to deliver twice as many shares to cover their position. However, the increased number of shares, this is it right here. So let me read this carefully. Okay, so the effect of a regular stock split when Adam Aaron created Ape. The regular stock split would also affect short sellers. They would have to deliver twice as many shares to cover their position. However, the increased number of shares available might make it easier for them to find shares to borrow. Now think about that when converting Ape into AMC. You're going to have more shares. You have all of these Ape shares and you convert them into AMC shares. Now the short sellers have way more shares. And then it's so diabolical. It's so diabolical because not only do they have way more shares from the conversion, but they get more shares from the dilution. It's so diabolical, y'all. So diabolical. Okay, so we went over the technicals, macro technicals. We're going to also look at some data showing that institutions are buying, that institutions are going long, and this will support the Wyckoff accumulation theory. It also supports a little bit of a theory that I have based off of what I'm seeing when I watch this on a day-to-day basis. I'm seeing volume spikes, and I'm seeing large buy orders come in. I do believe that big whales and institutional players, smart money, big money, whatever you want to call it, is loading up for a long position to make money off of this move that AMC is about to make. Okay, so we went over the technicals. Technicals is number 1. Wyckoff accumulation is number 2. Then we're going to do cycle theory, and then we're going to do psychology. All right, so let's go ahead and look at Wyckoff accumulation. So we go down. So we're looking for a big sell-off. This is the first thing we're looking for. Well, we got that when Adam Aaron created Ape. So this is when Adam Aaron created Ape. We rallied into the creation of Ape. They created Ape. We never recovered after because they had more shares to short us down. But now they're running out of those shares. They had more shares, but now they're even running out of those. Man, look at this, too. This is a big wedge. This right here, look. Hold on, let me show you guys the trend line. It's a big-ass wedge. Look at that. Higher low, higher low, higher low. That looks beautiful to me. All right, y'all. So we have this wedge as well. But let's go ahead and look at Wyckoff accumulation. Okay, so big sell-off, right? You got your PS right here. Let's put a line at the PS. I already have it right here. This yellow line. All right, so this is our PS right here. I believe that's point of support. Then we go down into our SC. So we go to our PS, all the way down to our SC. Then we get a bounce. Go to our SC. We get a bounce to our AR, automatic retest. SC, get a bounce to our, so let me see. SC, PS, SC, bounce to AR, automatic retest. That's retesting your PS. So we see that we got the automatic retest, retesting our point of support. Now we get a sharp sell off and then a hump shape to our spring. So we retest our point of support. We get a sharp sell off, then a hump shape into the spring. And look at how this is elongated. It's perfect. So you guys see how that's elongated like that? Then we go to our spring, which is that low. That low down here, which we never look back from. We've been on a rally ever since that. Not a necessary rally, but an uptrend. We've been on an uptrend ever since that. So we get that hump shape, and then we go into our uptrend. So again, this is your automatic retest. You come all the way down. You go into that hump shape. And we start rallying all the way back past our point of support, which is way at $20, $18 to $20. We're going to rally all the way back up here, guys. It's a Wyckoff accumulation schematic. Again, I'm not a Wyckoff expert, but you can see it very, very clearly. You drop down. You go back to you drop all the way down, your automatic retest. You go all the way down, hump into your spring. Your spring leads you into a rally to the upside. GME has the same exact thing. So that's technicals, Wyckoff. We also have market psychology. So let's go ahead and run through the psychology for AMC. So this is going to be your euphoria rally. You're going to rally to the upside. All right. So you guys get your euphoria rally to the upside. Euphoria rally to the upside. Then you get your drop to the downside and your upwards consolidation chop. Then you get a sharp drop down. Euphoria rally, upwards consolidation chop. That's called your complacency stage. To the sharp drop down. Anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation, anger. Denial, anxiety, capitulation, anger. Anger is going to be a lower low to depression, which is a lower low. So anger, low, lower low, depression, and even lower low. Low, low, even lower low. What comes next? Disbelief into hope, and then euphoria. It starts again, which correlates with the MACD on the monthly time frame. So again, we're about to get that cross on the monthly time frame. And I believe this is the beginning of the hope phase. I do believe we're going to see a little bit more upside. But basically, it plays out the Wyckoff accumulation schematic going back into the euphoria rally, which is another bull cycle. This is why I believe AMC is going to decouple from SPY, because SPY is in a different cycle. I'll quickly show you SPY cycle. But that is the market cycle and psychology theory. So that's going to be market cycle and psychology. So I showed you guys technicals on the macro. I showed you guys Wyckoff accumulation. I showed you guys psychology and cycle theory. If we take that same theory and put it with SPY, and again, technicals are saying the same thing with this macro bear flag. This macro bear flag is a bearish pattern. And we're coming back inside of this bear flag. This was a false break to the upside out of this bear flag. So we have this macro bear flag. A bear flag is a very bearish pattern. So this is the technical showing that SPY is going to crash. So you guys see this bear flag right here, this bear flag pattern. This is exactly what SPY's in. And if I don't angle it, a lot of people angle their bear flags, but if I don't angle it, it would be like a straight channel with no false break. But oh, now I moved my line. Should have not did that. It's this peak and this peak. $446. Okay, so this is a false break out of that bear flag, okay? So on the technicals, we're looking for downside. This is a false break to the upside on the bear flag. We're coming back inside the bear flag, and that's why I say if we break this level, it's going to see a hard capitulation down. Now, the bear flag targets are way down here where I have marked in red. But we also can take the same cycle analysis theory, look at SPY on the larger time frames, and you'll see that this was a major euphoria rally. This is going to be your complacency stage, and exactly what everyone's saying right now. We just need to cool off before the next bull rally. We just need to cool off before the next bull rally. But look, we're about to experience a major crash on SPY. This was a major euphoria rally. This is your euphoria. This is your complacency stage. And what we're going to see next is a major sell-off. And the people buying here are going to be bag holding for a long top. Look how nasty this double top looks. Look at this. Look how nasty this double top looks. And in fact, based off the charts, we are due to come back down and test these COVID levels and at least consolidate at these COVID levels before we come anywhere back up here. I am like, this is coming from the bottom of my heart, y'all. I am scared for the people that are holding right now because they're not going to see returns for years. We're about to see a major correction to the downside. We're about to see a major correction on SPY. We're about to see a downturn in the economy. I believe that Bitcoin is going to decouple from SPY. If we take that same cycle analysis, we can see that Bitcoin is actually in its disbelief rally. You have your euphoria right here. I'm going to show you in the weekly. Also, the fundamentals of Bitcoin, because of the fixed cap, and because the way it has a fixed cap, there's no way to inflate it. While the money is inflating away, while we're seeing all of this inflation in the U.S. economy, we're going to see Bitcoin go astronomically higher because it can't be inflated. It's deflationary. So while you have an inflationary environment with a deflationary asset, that asset that's deflationary is going to increase in value exponentially. You're going to have a huge amount of demand and a limit of supply because there's only a fixed supply. That's why I'm a huge proponent on Bitcoin. I do think we're about to see a bull run into 2024. And I've often called it my master plan trade to take my AMC MOAS gains, roll them into Bitcoin, because I've been a long proponent that AMC was going to come during a downturn in the economy, which looks like we're seeing right now. During a recession, assets will be on the downcline. I would be able to take my MOAS gains, roll them into assets like Bitcoin that are going to perform well in this environment, and then profit off of that even more, riding that all the way up to top with a huge MOAS bag full of profit. Now, if we go ahead and look at Bitcoin here, we can see that we had this massive rally here, euphoria to the upside. Your complacency stage is going to be this. After we had this massive euphoria rally, you come back down, you have this upwards consolidation chop. That is all complacency. This is all complacency. I was in this market during this time. I will tell you, me personally, I had a little bit of complacency on Bitcoin because I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm not afraid to admit it. When I was still learning a little bit, got a little bit complacent on Bitcoin. I'm telling you now, you don't want to do it, okay? I'm telling you now, you don't want to do it. It's not going to the moon, okay? It's not going to the moon. That's when I had to learn how to reel myself back in and learn to be fearful when others are greedy. You gotta be fearful when others are greedy. You cannot follow the herd. Even if you think the asset is fundamentally undervalued, you cannot follow the herd because you're gonna get wrecked. Because I was like, Bitcoin is worth at least 150 racks. At least. So I was like, we're going to 100K. Now this cycle, I do believe we can go to 80 to 100K. But only this cycle. But anyways, you guys can see that this is your complacency stage. You drop to the downside. You get your anger and depression, which is a lower low. This is your disbelief rally. Complacency, drop down into your anger and depression, which is lower low. Anger, depression, lower low. Disbelief. And look how similar the rally looks right now, this disbelief rally. You see that pump to the upside and you see that curl down? You see it curling to the downside? Look at the disbelief rally on this. Pump to the upside and you see that curl to the downside? And this is exactly what it did too, because here, let's go ahead and look in the weekly time frame. It'll look even more similar. Pump to the upside and then curl to the downside. So I do believe we're actually about to hold support here for Bitcoin. Get a rally back to the upside. Break above 31,000. And then break out of this macro ascending triangle. Break out of this macro ascending triangle here marked in blue, using 31,000 as support, and then continue back to the upside. I do believe we're going to see a bull run here on Bitcoin into 2024. And this is based off of technicals here. We have this falling wedge breakout. Here's a falling wedge right here. Perfect example of what AMC and GME are going to do. We have an uptrend. Then we have a downtrend of 2-year consolidation period. And then we have a breakout to the upside. This is exactly what GME is going to be doing as well. All right, let's check out the chat. Shout out C Pimpin. Shout out Whimsy. Shout out MBL. Shout out Benjamin. Shout out Matthew. Stream might be lagging a little bit. I do apologize. Stream might be lagging just a little bit, so I do apologize on that. Looks like the stream's catching up, so I do apologize if you guys experience a little bit of lag. All right, so let's hop back into it. So for weekly update and predictions, AMC green, GME green, SPY red. Again, going over all of my theories, research, and analysis, guys, you can see why I think the way I think now. Why I think, hopefully these live streams will help show you guys why I think the way I think, and why the market doesn't matter to me. The bullish sentiment doesn't matter to me. The bearish sentiment doesn't matter to me. I only read what the charts tell me. I look at the chart and I don't have any bias. I don't care if it's going to go up or down. That way I can look at the chart with a fresh, clean mind with no biases, and I look at what the chart's telling me and go off of that. That's it. So I believe Bitcoin is going to actually see a bull run into 2024. We're going to see SPY crash into 2024. We're going to see AMC and GME decoupled from AMC into 2024. We're going to see MOAS obviously before then. And I believe that a bear market is coming for SPY. And I believe that this was actually just one big bear market bounce. I believe that the bear market started here, and this is going to be one big bear market bounce, and we're actually going to come back down to these COVID lows, consolidating in these ranges for quite some time. Basically coming down to these lows here. Again, we could come all the way down to this range. Have to consolidate before we ever, I mean, look how much time it would take. It would take a long time, guys. And that's if we were lucky and got like, a double bottom off of these ranges. I do believe that a lot of people are saying that the Fed is going to be able to engineer this soft landing. I just don't see it. I do believe we're about to see a major downturn in the economy, and that's why I'm warning people about what I'm seeing. If we look at volume here on the weekly time frame, we can see that volume is just dropping off a cliff at these ranges. Smart money is not buying at these levels. They can tell that the stock market is overvalued right now, and prices need to come down. They're waiting. There's a lot. In fact, there's a lot of money on the sideline, and this was a theory that the mainstream media was using to say there's going to be a new bull market because there's a ton of money on the sideline waiting to buy. They're not waiting to buy at these evaluations. That money on the sideline is smart money that took profit off the last bull rally. They're not going to FOMO into some random bull market pump. No, bro. What they're going to do is wait for this rally to fizzle out and buy everything up at the bottom. That's what they're waiting for. That's why the money hasn't coming in. That's why the money's still on the sidelines. Bro, the mainstream media is lying, bro. The mainstream media is lying. They were trying to pump this thing because they need exit liquidity. They have very, very large positions, and they need exit liquidity. And that's why I had to pump almost all the way up to all-time highs, so all of them and their rich friends and stuff can get out. It's crazy. It's crazy. So again, I do believe that we're going to see the top on SPY. Me personally, I'm taking profit. I took profit on my Apple trade. I took profit on several other tech stocks that I own. I'm staying hedged with SPY and SQQQ because I use that in a different way. I use SPY and SQQQ in a different way. So I hold SQQQ and SPY, even though it's inverse of NASDAQ. I am aware of that. If you want to be 100%, you want to do NASDAQ SQQQ. But they pay dividends. Those stocks pay dividends every month, and I use that with a passive income strategy. So what I'll do is I'll take a high yield savings account of at least 5% or more. Some of my profits, about 50, I'm going to take, not 50 is a lot, so I'm going to take like 5 to 10, 15%, around that range. I'm going to take that and put it into this coin Atom. Very specific coin. Now, you don't want to get greedy. You don't want to get greedy in the crypto space. Also, I want to let everyone know that I'm going to be talking a lot about crypto after Moas is done. I'm definitely going to be talking a lot about crypto. I am done with the stock market. The stock market is corrupt. I'm going all into crypto. I'm getting out of the market. I'm going to use the market for my dividend plays and my hedging and stuff like that, and maybe quick in and outs, but I'm not leaving my money in there. I'm not holding nothing like that. I'll hold crypto. My main investment is going to be Bitcoin. My personal portfolio, I hold 50% Bitcoin, 50% altcoin. So I have 50% Bitcoin is 50% of my portfolio. Then I have a combination of altcoins on the other 50%. But I make sure that my portfolio stays weighted at least with 50% Bitcoin, which might sound a little bit strange to some people because they're like, altcoins make the most gains. But listen, altcoins are also very risky. And I do believe that Bitcoin is actually going to be fundamentally more important than altcoins. I believe it's going to be fundamentally more valued than a lot of altcoins. Now, I do hold some altcoin positions like Cardano, Polygon, Atom, LRC. These are very, very, very good coins, and we'll see a lot of gains. And they do make more gains than Bitcoin. We can also see that Shiba Inu is up 12% on the day. Even Shiba Inu 12% on the day. 13%. Yeah, so I charted this a while ago. Shiba Inu is in an ascending triangle. You guys can see that it was in a macro ascending triangle, and this triangle is now breaking out. I charted this. I don't know what video it was. It was a while back, but I pointed out this ascending triangle that Shiba Inu was in, and you can see that it's breaking out of it right now. But so yeah, I'm gonna take a like 5, 10, 15% of my profit, put it into Atom for 20%. And again, guys, you take 100,000. You take 100,000. You can make 20,000 a year base income. That's gonna be your base income. That means that if you take 100, let's take 150. So you take 150,000, right? That's going to give you enough money to live as well as the average American, basically. I think the average American, let's see. Yes. Yes. So the average American only makes 31,000 a year. Okay? You'll be, if you get 150 racks from your MOAS and you put it into Atom and make 20% APY, you'll make enough money to live as good as the average American base income. That's not even anything other that you do. No side hustles, no 9 to 5 that you work, nothing. You got 30,000 coming in every year. That's something I'm going to be doing. Now, you don't want to be greedy. There's something called yield farms and stuff like that. You don't want to be greedy. You don't want to be chasing yield, stuff like that. You don't want to be doing that stuff. Let's look at XRP. Let's check out XRP. XRP. XR. 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 XRP. XRP. All right. We're about to check out XRP. So XRP seeing a dump to the downside. I wanted to point this out earlier. XRP seeing a dump to the downside while Shiba Inu seeing a pump to the upside. What is going on? Let's go ahead and check out XRP and see what possibly technicals we could see now. So I want to point out this sloping resistance that I had marked here, acting as heavy resistance. It wasn't able to break out of this sloping resistance. We had a possible bull flag here on XRP. Was not able to break out of sloping resistance. Seen a strong rejection to the downside. Let's go ahead and chart what possibly could be coming next here for XRP. I'm going to be keeping an eye on XRP. So if you guys hold XRP, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more XRP content. Again, I want to do a lot more crypto and stock content or crypto content. So what I immediately see for XRP is a possible recovery. How do I do that? All right, so we could see a possible recovery like a falling wedge, which is more likely than this bull flag. This bull flag just didn't look right. I'll tell you why. It just didn't look right to me. It was very, very short. It just didn't look like it had enough time to accumulate to break to the upside again. So yes, XRP is very bullish. What I believe this is probably bigger players pushing it down. So what smart money will do before they buy an asset, they'll try to push it down as much as they can. And if I had a lot of money, I would do the same thing. I would spread FUD about the asset. I would buy a bunch of it and sell it to try to make it go down. I would short it. I would spread FUD and then I would buy it. Okay, so we can see this possible line of support right here. It looks like XRP is going to probably come back down to 50 cents. All right, so MACD on the 4 hour starting to flip bullish. You might be able to get a recovery in this range, but it looks like XRP might want to come back down and retest 60 cents even. But this looks like a good range to be accumulating XRP, not financial advice. I would much rather accumulate it in this range than up here. I would much rather be buying it right now. If I were looking for XRP to buy, like I would buy right now. I would maybe look for a little bit lower drop, but there's a possibility that you might not get that. So I would be scaling into my position now. I would scale about 50% of my total investment. So let's say I had $100, $1,000. I would put $50 in. If I had $1,000, I'd put $500 in. And then I would buy maybe 2 weeks, a week from now, and put the rest in, the other 100 or 150, other 50 or other 500. Starting to get a MACD cross here in the 4 hour. Let's go ahead and check at the daily time frame. Okay, so this makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so we just had too much bearish momentum when we got to that resistance. And this is the same thing I was saying about SPY. So when you come up to major resistance, you want a lot of momentum. On SPY, RSI was way too hot to break over all-time highs. That's how I knew all-time highs wouldn't even be touched, because there was too much resistance in that levels, and RSI was too hot. And I see momentum already dropping down. So this makes a lot of sense to see XRP start to drop down. It didn't have enough momentum to break out of this major resistance. It's starting to regain momentum. So this looks like a good spot to be buying XRP, not financial advice. Looks like a really good spot. Let's go and check out those bull bands. Yeah, you can see that price is overextended outside the bands as well. So you're going to be looking for a sharp recovery on XRP. This looks like definitely like someone was trying to push it down and grab some real quick. That's definitely what it looks like. You can see the MACD starting to flip on the 4-hour. Where do I purchase XRP? I can't tell you where to buy XRP. Oh, excuse me.
Talked to the heads of almost every single one.
Damn.
72 hours, and he has no idea what it's like out there. None. No idea.
Kramer.
I have talked to the heads of almost every single one of these firms in the last 72 hours, and he has no idea what it's like out there. None. And Bill Poole has no idea what it's like out there. My people have been in this game for 25 years.
No idea.
They're losing their
None.
jobs, and these firms are going to
no
go out of
idea,
business,
bro.
and he's nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
Yo, boss, heated, bro.
I have not seen it like this.
Yo,
since
he's
I went
heated.
5 bid for half
Yo,
a
look
million
how
shares
mad
of
he is
Citigroupon
right
I
now,
got
bro.
hit in
He's
1990.
visibly upset.
This is a different kind of market, and the Fed is asleep.
He said it's a
He has
different
no
type of
idea.
market.
Kramer.
I have talked to the heads of
Look,
almost
she's like,
every
just please
single one of
chill.
these firms in the
She's
last
like, please
72
chill.
hours, and he has no
You can see it in his
idea what
eyes,
it's
yo.
like out there.
He's like, I'm about to
None.
wild out.
And Bill Poole has no idea what it's like out there. My people have been in this game for 25 years.
She's just
and
like,
they're
please shut
losing
up.
their jobs, and these firms
Look at
are
her
gonna
face
go out
right
of
now.
business, and he's nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
Kramer.
I have not seen it like this since I went
imagine-
5 bid for 500,000 shares of Citigroup when I got hit in 1990. This is a different kind of market, and the Fed is asleep. He has no idea.
What do y'all think about Kramer right now, y'all? A lot of people say XRP, but I'm telling you guys, Bitcoin, man. I'm more bullish on Bitcoin than XRP. Y'all might think I'm crazy for that. If there's a super play to me, it's actually Ethereum. I think Ethereum's gonna outperform everything, honestly. But that's just my personal opinion. But I hold XRP, XLM. I'm heavy on Ethereum and heavy on the XLM and XRP play. But I think Ethereum possibly could flip Bitcoin, which would be absolutely insane. They added a new function to Ethereum where it's deflationary, which was Ethereum's only thing because Ethereum didn't have a fixed cap like Bitcoin does, but they started burning it, which makes it deflationary.
They're the worst people on earth. They're rude to staff. They have no respect for anybody. They're cunts. And they have no talent. They don't make money. They just have a pot of money, and they manipulate markets and make their little pot go up with other people's money, and they get bailed out by the government anyway. They're complete dickheads with no skill. The worst people. The worst people in the world. And they'll wipe out all the normal traders, all the average person. They'll completely wipe them out, and they'll sit there with their big pot of money and manipulate the markets. When this cunt wakes up and his 13 billion it's gone. He hasn't got an income. He hasn't got a business. He can't make it back. 13 billion has vanished from the stock market and gone to Redditors. It's brilliant. I've got 10 or 11 million dollars. I'm not that rich. But what kind of pussy?
He said I got 10 or 11 million dollars.
I'm scared to lose one of my millions. I have 11. Now I have 10. If I'm not contributing towards the destruction of hedge funds. This is the thing. This is the problem with millionaires nowadays. They're such pussies. I have 11 million. Ooh,
They put it in hedge funds.
They put it in hedge funds. We're from the street. I'm not giving my money to some hedge fund. I'm not stupid. I got 11 million, right? Let me tell you something. My life would be exactly the same if I had 5 million. Yeah. So if I had to lose 6 million to destroy Wall Street, I'm ready to fucking go. Fuck them. Fuck them all. These people on Reddit are geniuses. They're geniuses. And this GameStop thing is genius. If you actually look at it and read what they've done, it's pure genius.
It is
brilliant.
pure genius.
And what they're doing on all these other stocks, they're going to war with hedge funds. Have you seen their open letter? They made a letter to CNBC who was saying bad things about them, saying, we want to see loss.
I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're just tuning in, go ahead and press like. If you're just tuning in, go ahead and press like. Press like.
I'm in. This is officially.
Yeah, Casper's going crazy too.
Twitter, tell me what to do. Tell me what to buy. I'm cashing 6 mil of crypto. We're going in 6 mil. We're going to take out hedge funds. What kind of man would I be if I didn't
Cass
go
is
war
up
with a hedge fund?
7,000% for the
Close
year.
Hedge funds. Me personally, Tate was involved in this. I'm going to burn the whole fucking system down. Woo! Woo! So as it stands.
Any of these guys, like everybody's afraid of Citadel. Everybody's afraid of Goldman Sachs. Everybody's afraid of the big banks. FINRA's afraid of them. The SEC is afraid of them. They won't even go after them. Like nobody will go after this inherent corruption that is a Wall Street model. And I think the issue that I have is that whatever the apes' intention was, or whatever
everyone knows who apes are. Yeah, we're famous, y'all.
Strategy is absolutely
look,
not
it's me.
The point. The point is they exposed a system that is supposedly the heart and soul of the American free market system. It appears to be anything but that. Here's the thing that I like about the ape movement. They're not afraid of any of these guys. Like everybody's afraid of Citadel.
You hear that, guys? We're not afraid. We're not afraid. I think AMC could post positive earnings. I believe earnings are going to be good on AMC. If we look at the bars pattern, guys, I'll show you the bars pattern for AMC. Looks like the stream caught up, so we shouldn't have any lag. I took a strategies course in college. I'll figure it out. Shout out Pam Law. Shout out Dr. Green Thumb. Shout out Benjamin. Shout out Tech We Love. Hey, Tech We Love. You do any coding, anything like that? I used to, it's big into cybersecurity. I think earnings is going to be good. Let me post a few links real quick, guys. Let me post a few links. 1 second. All right. So, again, I do think earnings is going to be positive for AMC. What we're looking at here on the bars pattern is calling for upside. Here's a quick XRP, and then we'll show you guys AMC. But here's your XRP prediction. Look at the Bollinger Bands getting tight. Last time they did that, it was a bull rally for XRP. I'm telling you guys, once Bitcoin goes into this bull rally, XRP is going to run up too. That's what I have for you guys. We'll see how it plays out. I think it's going to play out. All right, we're going to do AMC earnings. Again, weekly prediction and update for AMC is a green week. GME, green week. SPY, red week. AMC looks beautiful in the monthly, man. Y'all see this? Why does it say we have a bullish cross on the monthly, though? I'm so confused. I want to point out that Bitcoin has a bullish MACD cross too on the monthly, y'all. That's not the only thing now. The alligator's flipping bullish on the monthly. You got a golden cross on the daily. All right, so the 200 EMA is marked in black, and then the 50